Okay, I have 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. If you'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to remind everybody to please turn your cell phones to the vibrate or silence or off setting. The Opioid Abatement Funding Advisory Board allows any person to speak regarding an item on the agenda. The speaker is limited to 2 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. Speakers shall refrain from any abusive or profane remarks, protest, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Upon completion of the public comment, discussion is limited to the board members and questions raised by the board. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Okay. Do I have a motion for the minutes?
A motion approved.
Second.
Thank you. The next item on the, we have a speaker, Sean Parker. If you'll just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the council. My name is Sean Parker. I represent New Season, which is an MAT provider that is the center here in Pensacola that provides services to 707 patients. The purpose for my addressing this board today is the Opioid Treatment Authority. Those providers are only serving 47% of the patients seeking MAT services in this county. New Season has the other 53%. While you've done a commendable job being good stewards of the settlement funds, you're missing that 53% of the population that are looking for treatment utilizing MAT services, including methadone, which has been proven to be the gold standard for OUD treatment. These funds that we're talking about are not philanthropic in nature. And in fact, it's blood money made by unethical and at times predatory practices by pharmaceutical and doctors. And all people that are suffering from the opioid epidemic should be allowed access to these funds. For those on the council that are concerned that for-profit agencies utilize these funds to enhance our bottom line, in the other counties that we have received funding for, we have utilized these funds to remove barriers for our patients, whether it is Uber Health or purchasing lock boxes, which allow patients to take home medications and protect the medication from their children so their children don't have access to the funds, just to name a couple of the things we utilize these funds for. So I ask you to consider opening for-profit organizations for the next funding cycle. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next person that I'd like to call up is Walter Arrington.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Walter Arrington with Community Health Northwest Florida. Just wanted to come today, give a quick report out first. Thank you for the board's support for our expansion project. I'm happy to report as of the 1st, we have now gotten our third MAT site with provider with Ryan Bianco, located at 350 or 348 Herman Ave, up and running. So he is now able to see MAT patients. We've also got our mobile medical unit with MAT capabilities. So that's the first deployment of that will be on the 15th of this month at 31 Murphy Lane. It will be with the same provider, Ryan Bianco. We are seeing, the referrals keep coming. So credit to the county team with EMS. We've had some struggles lately, growing pains, I'll call them. But EMS has been great and helping a lot of people. So I'm here if y'all have any questions. I just wanted to come and hopefully y'all be seeing a lot more of me at these meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, back to the first speaker.
Yes.
I don't think we can do anything about the for-profit stuff. Wouldn't that have to go before the county commission to change that, or would it be something else? I don't think we have the authority to do that, do we?
I believe that it would, but I could follow up on that for next time, unless you have any information on that specifically. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. We have the opioid budget review is the next item. I know Ms. Kissel is not here today, so I don't think we have any updates other than what you've received today for the meeting. We have on here to discuss the opioid abatement implementation plan or any changes that need to be made to fiscal year '25. Does anybody have any comments about that?
Madam Chair, at this point, we don't know exactly what we're going to be getting, right? That's be coming in the next few months.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Matt, did you have something?
No, I was going to say, we don't know what we're getting yet,
Right.
so there's not much we can do about that.
We'll move to the next line item, which is the opioid abatement notice of funding advertisement schedule. Does anybody have any comments on that at this time?
When will that be going out? Once we receive the funds, or how do we do that? Are we going to have to go through a process again like we did before to have it advertised, or how's that going to work?
I believe we'll use the same schedule that we did last year.
That was my understanding as well.
I just have a question. Or,
Sure.
So, looking at dates, remember if we're going to be outsourcing and looking at smaller potential non-for-profits or for-profits, whatever the county decides. Some of these organizations don't have grant writers. So take that, I think you need to take that into consideration. 30-day window to get a grant proposal out can be a pretty tight schedule for some of these smaller organizations. Just take that into consideration, because I think there was only a 30-day window last year.
I thought it was longer than that.
It may have been longer than that, but just take that under advisement and then put that out, because
Okay,
that was all.
thank you. Does anybody else have anything as far as the schedule itself? Are there any new business items?
Not a new business item, I don't guess, but a question in terms of what is our role going forward with the funding that has been granted in terms of any reports back to us? Do we have any role? Do we know if we have any role going forward with that? In terms of reports to us or the process?
I believe that they will submit reports to the county, but
Right.
they will give us a copy of those reports. I believe that that's what the process will be.
Okay.
Again, we can follow up with Liz since she, I believe, is over the grant portions of that.
Okay.
And we can put that on the agenda for next time to get some clarification as far as the schedule specifically, as well as that information.
Okay, thank you.
Because one of the other items that we have just talked about is really, if there are any changes to the 25 implementation plan. Are there any other questions as far as new business? Hi. Well, that's all that we have on the agenda. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Do we need to
Oh, we
schedule
need
the
to
next
schedule our
meeting?
next date, absolutely. Do we want to go ahead and schedule something for February? That way it'll give Ms. Kissel time to provide that information.
Will we have things to discuss, you think, in February, or?
I'll be out of town for February. So be
How
back
about-
sometime in March, middle of March, but
March will be fine. What does everybody's schedule look like for March the 3rd?
Excuse me, Ms. Chair.
Yes.
I believe you guys need to make a vote on A, to approve the funds, just to, I guess, confirm that you guys agree on all those numbers, is how I read it, but if you disagree, just let me know.
Even though we approved it, but it went before the board?
That's my understanding, it's just the way she worded it, but however you feel it needs to be said.
If we need to go back and approve that, so on number 6, where it says approve the use of opioid abatement funds with the amounts listed below, do I have a motion to approve those?
so move.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion passes. Back to the date is March the 3rd at 10. Does that work for everybody?
Not for me,
Not for you.
but, I mean, I can miss my one, so if I have to. I don't know when I'll be back, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Sometime in March, weather dependent, so.
Well, the 10th or the 3rd week in March?
The third week probably be better for me to know when I'll be back by, and it should be back by then. So.
March 17th, will that work for everyone at 10 a.m.?
That works for me.
Okay, so we'll schedule our next meeting for March 17th, 10 a.m., and that'll give us time to review the information that Denise provided as well. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.